Good afternoon, and welcome to another subversive episode of Diatribes from the Voice of Doom. Now here's your deviant and derelict host, Voice of Doom. Hello. I have no structure, I have no plan, I have nothing written down. But I felt the need to do a quick diatribe before I go to work, which I'm lucky to be able to do today, because although I do work Wednesday through Sunday, they've been giving me Wednesdays off lately because it's slow, because of basically the economy and the usual fluctuations in restaurants. And I'm able to work today, so I'm happy about that. But I feel better at work if I can get my aggressions out on this. And that's part of why I do diatribes, and I try to do one a day because I can get my frustrations out, and then when I'm at work, I can be pleasant to the best of my ability. So, the microcosm and the macrocosm, as I have been talking about the last few episodes, our microcosm of our family and my life is a manifestation of the macrocosm and the other way around. That's what Buddhism is kind of all about. The interrelationship of life and all phenomena. Your life and all phenomena and mine, and the connections. Now, as I've said in the last episode, we're kind of up against it financially, and it's of our own making. And the good old U.S., what used to be A, is up against it financially, and it's of their own making. Now, unfortunately, the only cash cow we have right now is my son, who is a diligent saver and a diligent person who doesn't waste money. And I think I'm finding out that, he had the potential to be a gamer, and he chose not to after, he first turned 21. So he made his share of mistakes, and he learned from them, and that's his strength. And he's as good of a cash cow as we have as far as getting us out of binds, but I don't like doing that because he's worked hard for his money, and I don't like, depleting it. And at the same time, the country, kind of torn between whether I'm hoping that they actually pass this infrastructure bill and put us over the cliff once and for all so we can finally crash to the ground, or hoping that it fails and we keep on plodding along slowly toward the cliff, slouching toward Gomorrah. Because the sooner the conflagration comes, the sooner I can put to bed all these little petty concerns I have, such as credit card bills and car payments and mortgage payments. Because when the conflagration comes, all that's going to go by the wayside. Because when I say conflagration, I ain't fooling around. So, being a fatalist and being a gamer, and now I'm not as much of a gamer because I can't. It's not feasible. But I'm gaming with bigger stakes now. I'm gaming with my future, and I'm gaming kind of with my life. And the way I'm gambling with the future is I'm debating whether I should just do what I said in my last episode and shrug it off. And say, look, if I really believe the conflagration is coming, then what difference does it make to try to pay down one more mortgage payment? Or pay down one more credit card payment, slowly bringing yourself crawling out of the pits, which you will get out of the pit. If you're diligent and you keep on going, then eventually, discipline yourself, you will get out of the pit. But I'm afraid that, with my luck, I'll be almost out of the pit, and my hands will be clutching the rim of the hole, just ready to pull myself out, and then something will come around to throw me back in and bury me. And that's the conflagration. And it's like, why did I waste all my time trying to climb out of this pit in order to be buried? But then again, if you're a Buddhist, then you have to keep on trying and climbing out of the pit. And as far as gambling with my life, well, I won't tell you how I'm doing that. I've done it all my life by having bad habits and having a unhealthy lifestyle. And I'm passed on those traits to my older kid, who's a hypochondriac, and he's thinking he's sick all the time. And it's like, well, you drink every day. You stay out too late, you work 11 hours a day, and then you stay out all night. So it's no wonder. Oh, I got to go to the doctor, I got to go to the hospital, He's a drama queen. But to really gamble with your life, you have to take a stand on certain issues and say, my gut feeling says to do this. And either I'm wrong or many other people on the other side are wrong, and I won't even discuss what the issue is because I'll be banned. But I will say that I've been taking a big existential gamble over the last few months because I really am, honest. I'm sincere when I say that I think at the end of society and the end of Western civilization as we know it will soon be over. The time is nigh. Don't talk about 2025 or 2035. Let's talk about 2021 and 2022, because the good faith and credit of the what used to be US of A is not going to be holding up much longer. And that's how we assume that everything's going to be hunky-dory. And they say, we can take $5.7 trillion this year and we're not going to have to pay a cent. It's not going to add a thing to the debt. Yeah, I'm sure. The debt will keep going up, but it won't be because of that money. The debt will keep going up, yes, but not because of the 5.5 trillion. No. Now, we all know that's BS. And I was watching the YouTube news and various things. I mostly watch the right side. I don't want to waste my time with talking about January 6th or 9th or whenever the hell it was. They're still talking about that as if there's nothing bad going on right now. Let's spend, 10 hours talking about the rioters and how that horrible person, caused an insurrection. God, that's so absurd. So I don't waste my time with any of them. I don't bother. But I watch Gravitas and I watch a bunch of other, outlets that give me information. Now, something caught my eye, the COVID update, and, I decided to watch that, and I realized that that's, it's propaganda through and through. There was no disagreement about anything. The vaccine is mandatory in order to get rid of this, virus, and everybody should get it. We're doing our best to get everybody their boosters and get more vaccines out to the third world and make billions and billions. And I'm sure they're giving vaccines out for free, but somebody's paying for something. They're not just pumping out these substances of their own free will and good heart. It's like, okay, Johnson & Johnson, we're good people. We're going to spend billions of dollars to make this remedy for everybody to have for free, and then we're going to just use our own money. We're not going to ask for anything. No. I'm sure the money's coming from the so-called government. So the more the merrier. The more they get out, the better. Well, that's fine. The vaccine is great. But they keep on piling it on. It's like boosters. Well, I've never heard of getting boosters when you've only had the initial, inoculation for less than a year, and then suddenly they're saying you should get boosters, and then more boosters, and more boosters. And then, variants, and who knows. But being a child of the last, of the boomer years, I grew up with Vietnam, and I grew up with Watergate, and I grew up with Iran-Contra, and I grew up with everything. And I don't believe anything the government says. I don't trust anything the government says. So if I make a choice to do something, then it's from my own self-interest. It's not because the government tells me. In fact, the more the government tells me to do something, the more I don't want to do it. And anybody my age knows why. And when an old lady comes up to me at the casino, and we have our masks like this, and we're supposed to be wearing them all the time unless we're drinking or smoking, it makes a lot of sense. Oh, you can only take your mask off when you're drinking and smoking. So, and the lady's like, how come you don't have your mask on? I mean, I'm sorry, but I had an overwhelming urge to strike her, and I didn't, because I know that would be wrong. But I was in a line waiting, and I said, let's go, because I don't want to even acknowledge this person's existence, because the casino's full of people, have their masks on, half don't. And, and it says mask mandatory, so busybodies, as I said before, have to come up and, how come you're not wearing your mask? I wear mine, you should wear yours. It's like, all right, everything's all better now. I'm not breathing on you, and I'm not taking in your breath, But I really had an overwhelming urge, involuntary reaction to get violent, and I didn't, because that's not my style. People would be very shocked if suddenly I'm arrested for assault. But it was maddening, because I don't like these people telling us what to do, and they don't know what they're talking about. And I don't trust the government one little bit. I don't trust anything they tell me. Nothing. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Go outside, don't go outside. Get together, don't get together. Take this, take that. The Afghanistan was a success. The world is at peace. The border is totally closed and secure. I don't trust anything they say, all right? And now I'm going to get angry, and that's what I want to do, because then I can go to work happy, and I'm almost done. I don't trust them. I don't believe them. I think it's a Kafkaesque, Orwellian labyrinth of confusion and sinister malfeasance and self, self-enriching for those in power. And sometimes the power is the enrichment. That gives them strength, because nobody's resigning. And every time somebody's in a hearing, which aren't hearings, I don't know what they are, you have 5 minutes. And then, half the 5 minutes is taking up arguing about whether they're allotted another 30 seconds because somebody piped in a question. Or maybe the witness was answering and taking up the time of the questioner. 5 minutes. Well, we want everyone to get a chance, and if we have long, drawn-out hearings like Watergate was, and we won't, nobody will watch us. It's like, well, you need long, drawn-out hearings, and you need those guys to be able to question them for hours, just like they did in Watergate. You go back and look at the archives and see hours on every minute detail of what was going on. The same thing happened with Iran-Contra. Hours. Each person. Not going to get to the bottom of anything, and then they keep on repeating themselves. And the person on the stand or in the docket, or whatever they are, answering, will never admit to anything, ever. They've never done anything wrong in their life, and anything else that looks like it might be wrong is not happening. That's just not the way it is. I don't care how much money my family's making from this, certain theory that we have to espouse throughout all the public schools, which nobody should be going to anyway. So I'm sick of them complaining about the public schools. Oh, I'm sick of walking around in this dump and getting infections all the time. Well, don't walk around in the dump. People dump their crap in the dump and they get the hell out of there because it's festering with disease. And it's a landfill. I was hiking through the landfill and I keep getting infections. Get out of public school. Do you understand? Okay, I've gotten my aggression out. I said nothing. And I'm going to leave it at that. I think I can go to work happy. And, ni hao. And she. Ni hui fut song. Thanks, everybody. I hope I made sense.